Hello there. I'm here to talk to you about the runoff election for Georgia's 6th Congressional District. As you can see, since November, I've moved on from ice cream. Even though clearly not enough of you listened to me last time, I have graciously returned with a little advice. If, like many Americans, you feel like the country is being run by a temperamental toddler with his sticky finger on a nuke button and occasionally have to pretend that Albus Dumbledore is actually president just so you can get through your day, then listen up. Right now, Republicans have the majority in the House of Representatives. If the House remains this way, Trump will keep getting to pass his ridiculous tweet-driven policies with few obstacles. However, if in November of 2018 Americans elect Democrats to 24 seats in the House, the majority will shift, providing the check to Trump's power so many of us desperately crave. The good news is 23 traditionally Republican districts voted Democrat in the 2016 presidential election, and 5 more were within 2%. So 24 should be easy, right? Wrong. You still have to go to the polls, okay? Facebook reposts do not count. Now, some lucky US citizens don't have to wait all the way until then to help make this happen. There's an important US election happening right now in Georgia's 6th Congressional District because the current elected congressman, Tom Price, recently pieced out to become US Secretary for Health and Human Services on Team Trump. John Ossoff, Democrat, and Karen Handel, Republican, are currently tied to replace him, and one of them will be elected in a special runoff election on June 20th, with early voting now through June 16th. If you are in Georgia's 6th Congressional District,
parts of Fulton, DeKalb, and Cobb County. Just look it up.
And are anything less than thrilled with President T, go vote for Ossoff.
But why does my vote matter? Even if he wins, it's just one seat, right?
Shut up. If Ossoff had received only around 5,000 more votes 2 months ago, he'd be in the House now and there'd be no runoff. And while this is only one of 24 districts Dems need to win, if Ossoff wins, it sends a message to voters around the country in more easily flipped districts that by stepping up to vote, they can halt Trump in his tracks. And Ossoff's not just gonna block Trump. He also believes in great things and has a record to show he can get them done. For instance, healthcare. He believes every American should have access to healthcare regardless of pre-existing conditions, which is especially important since Trump has basically made having a vagina a pre-existing condition. And no matter your gender or sexuality, we all owe a lot to vaginas. Ossoff is also a documentary filmmaker who's spent his life exposing corruption and figuring out whose fault stuff actually is. In other words, he's a lot better at holding people responsible than, say, someone who just screams fake news all the time and blames everyone from Mexican children to your Muslim neighbor Ben, who recently adopted that 3-legged cat, for the heinous systematic crimes actually perpetrated by corporations, corrupt government officials, and extremists. So, if you live in Georgia's 6th Congressional District, please vote for Ossoff. Only 43% of voters showed up 2 months ago. A win for Ossoff is going to be completely dependent on people simply showing up, okay? And if you live in other districts, please pay attention to upcoming elections and do your part. Cheers. He's also hot. Not like that matters, but tequila.